Welcome to the Quick Stop F1 podcast. My name is Nyasha and you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. We appreciate it. Joining me today, I've got a couple of rascals. Speaking of rascals, one of them has just got a new rascal of the... Actually, no, rascal is a bit like... That's not complimentary.
I mean, I know rascal. There's Rugrats. Oh, no, that's a... Yeah,
Rugrats?
Yeah, I got a Rugrat.
Rugrat, isn't it?
Yeah.
You got a little Rugrat, little Tommy!
Little Tommy, yeah. And his name is Lewis, middle name Hamilton. Why? Oh, yeah, you're not laughing now, are you? Before we started, Nyasha was laughing when I said his name was Lewis Hamilton. Everyone thinks I'm joking. I'm being deadly serious.
I'm really happy.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine? Oh my goodness.
The thing is, I would back it, but I'm just like,
I'll get cooked.
Boy, that is.
Oh my god, I'll get annihilated. Oh my goodness.
Oh man. Anyway, look, if you hadn't noticed, we've got Tommy. Welcome. I'm going to give you some cheers for you and your new child. Welcome.
Yeah, I need a da-da-da and a fire.
Oh, you want the air horns? Oh, we're going to...
That's more like
There
it
you go. There you go. I was going to play Every Day a Star Is Born, but I played 6 seconds of that last time, and Hove said, "Give me any AdSense money you get off the video." So that's not going to happen. But look, thank you for coming to me, and also joining us on the show. You've seen her on our Patreon and preview shows. You're now on the main podcast. Welcome for your Quick Stop F1 debut, Tasha. Yay! How's it going?
It's going. How are you guys?
We're good. I just want to say for Tandy Hive and obviously people who I listen to the show, Tandy is not well at the moment. So we extend our greatest wishes and get well soon to Tandy. She's suffering a bit at the moment, so we're going to leave her to recover. She will hopefully, I'm pretty sure, be back for the Miami GP race review. Always in our house, Tandy, we love you. Having said that, if you're watching at home, make sure you're giving us a 5-star review on Spotify. Make sure you're giving us an Apple Podcast review as well. Like and subscribe to this channel. And if you want an ad-free feed, you can subscribe to our Patreon for as little as $2.99. You can get an ad-free stream as well as extra content and merch exclusives. Guys, we've just had the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Azerbaijan sprint race weekend. Tommy, I'll go to you first. What did you think of... I mean, do you have any thoughts on the new sprint format of, having qualifying on a Friday, sprint shootout on the Saturday, followed by the sprint race, and obviously the race on Sunday?
Well, Nyasha, I'm glad you asked. I actually think it's amazing. I'm a massive fan of the FIA and Formula One and what they're doing to make the sport exciting again, It's nice to see it really benefiting all the teams equally and fairly, and that everyone has a chance to take pole and to win a race. Those are my thoughts, and I will say nothing else. And I'm definitely not being paid by the FIA to say that. But if I'm getting dead serious, is the word this is the most boring season in a long time. Like, even when they said, "Oh, we need to change racing because it's not close enough and there's not many chances for other teams to win," like, this is worse than that, because now it's like the same every single race. How many overtakes were this race? Maybe like 3?
18.
There was 18.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not good, especially when you've changed your rules and regulations to encourage overtaking. To have 18 overtakes, it's embarrassing. I feel like the whole shebang, especially the sprint stuff, that was garbage. It didn't work like they thought. Who thought a sprint race of Baku would be good? It's never good. But anyway, those are my thoughts.
No, look, honest thoughts. And I think, Baku, I put the meme of saying it's got this false image, because I feel like it's very heavily dependent on the fact that you need people to crash at this circuit. Otherwise, it's no fun. Like no one gets it. The biggest stuff that has happened at this circuit is freak accidents. people's tyres blowing up, Vettel running into the back of Lewis Hamilton, Max crashing into the back of Daniel Ricciardo, Lewis having his brake magic. These are all freak of nature incidents which have created drama at a track where it's so difficult to overtake. If you can't overtake on a straight and you can't, follow people around the corners, it's a false image. But look, I don't know, that's me. Tasha, what are your thoughts? Like, I guess,
I think we're going to go 3 for 3 on this.
yeah, really? Are you the same?
Yeah, I just felt like it didn't add anything to the weekend. I mean, like, I'm just thinking if I was a brand new, like, I just stumbled across the feed and I'm seeing drivers drive for 17 laps, not even like a full race, 17 laps. Like, did enough happen that justified it taking place in the first place? And would that, like, make me want to watch the next race? And I just feel like it had no bearing on the weekend. Like, it wasn't really like something that added to it. And I also feel like to have a race before the race, I definitely felt like it took a bit away from the Grand Prix on Sunday. Like, I distinctly remember on Saturday feeling like, oh shit, we have a race tomorrow, because I feel like I already watched one. So that's kind of, it just felt like it didn't really add anything. It wasn't that exciting. Yeah,
I think that Formula One doesn't realize that more racing at boring tracks doesn't mean the tracks become interesting. They just become more boring.
Double the boring.
And fun fact, in previous years, Baku has had an average of 40 overtakes per race, and that's not including the opening lap. And 66% of them make use of DRS. So to have 18 overtakes after we changed the entire rule book is comedic. And we also almost got a pancake pit lane full of photographers, which was pretty cool.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, we will get into. We will. I mean, look, why don't we just get into it now? I mean, that was. I mean, obviously, we're talking about the sprint race, but I think it's almost symbolic of the FIA and just how they don't have a handle on anything. They've, like, you know what I mean? Like you said, obviously in their eyes, they've got stewards who control that part of things. And obviously the stewards down there are the ones who would say, okay, let's open or close the pit lane. But clearly they know that Esteban Ocon hasn't finished, hasn't pitted yet, would need to pit in order to satisfy his need to have a pit stop on his record. Otherwise he would have been disqualified from the race. So, I mean, between that incident and between the sprint race weekend, I guess across the board not adding anything. What if you guys were in charge of the FIA? What is the one thing that if you could change right now, you would change to make it more exciting for anyone who, I guess, is not a Red Bull fan?
Well, Nyasha, funny you should ask that. I think if we put a ban on all jewelry, I think that would make the racing more exciting, and it will also make the whole spectacle more entertaining for newcomers. I think that is what we should focus on, nothing else.
Yeah, okay. I mean, yeah. Oh God.
Letting off shots.
It's not on safety.
If I'm being 100% serious, when it comes to sprint races, I've shared this thought before and I'll share it again. I feel like the sprint races should be run with the third drivers, so the reserve drivers of all the teams. So each team has one driver and one car in the sprint race. They alternate the car, whether it's, for example, the lead car or the backup teammate, so car A or car B. You alternate between sprint weekends so that there's a fair chance that each car can get fucked up. But I think it should be run by the reserve drivers, and that way we get to see who's really, really deserving of a seat in Formula One. Because there's certain people that were reserve drivers that get seats, and I'm sure if they followed my sprint routine, these people probably wouldn't have got seats, and the seats would have gone to people who are more deserving of it. But I think the sprint race weekend should be, look, we've got a pit lane full of reserve drivers. We slap them in a car, 20 laps, go ham. That should be it. And I feel like the starting position should be drawn randomly. Maybe give half points, but only constructors points and then that can go to the teams at the end of the season. I think that would be not only interesting, but exciting as well as refreshing. And then to change the actual racing of the weekend, I think the FIA need to kind of stop being idiots and realize that this freeze on, engine upgrades and the freeze and the budget cap just isn't working. Yeah. It's just making teams that have a fast car get further and further and further away. I think Aston Martin's a freak of nature this year, but that's my opinion.
Look, Tasha, do you have any? Look, those are all. And I'm going to come back to something you said. I'm just going to find something. Tasha, do you have any? What would be your magic pill to kind of fix what's going on? Or I guess, what would you tweak with the sprints to maybe make it more palatable? Or are we being too quick to say this is all shit?
I still feel like the sprints. Like Tommy said, like unless you add some sort of like, I don't know, some ingredient that we don't normally see on Sunday, to make it interesting. I just don't see how the sprints make any sense. And especially when you see like on Friday, they had one practice and then they were sliding around the track for the next 3 days, like basically to take that out of the equation because you think that audiences find that too boring. When that's the whole point of the weekend is to lead up to anticipate to the main race. I don't know. I just feel like it's too like reactive. I know that they see that their ratings are going down, but that's not because people find it boring. I think people who are tuned into F1, not that, it's super exciting 100% of the time, but like, I just feel like there's a lot of political stuff happening that I think people are having a hard time ignoring and that is causing them not wanting to tune in. Not, oh, we're not seeing enough action, things aren't blowing up enough, there's not enough missiles, there's not enough fire. Like that's literally secondary to the fundamental issue is that like there's a lot going on that's not fair. There's a lot that's going on that's like super I don't know, there's just like fundamental things that could be taken care of first before we start saying like, yeah, let's add more shit because, you can't shine up a turd basically. And I feel like that's what's kind of what they're trying to do here. It's not really working. It's not working.
You cannot polish a turd. That is fundamentally correct. Like literally and metaphorically.
Literally.
Give it a go. Won't work. So look, what I wanted to come back to and what I found, put that in there, is that Dan, engine mode, obviously former engineer at Red Bull, boo! But nice guy. He said that, under one of our tweets today, he said that I think the technical regulations are all right, but it's the financial regulations that have fucked everyone over. Teams can't spend what they need to spend to catch up with Red Bull, so they're going to keep their advantage over a few seasons until it converges. And, that's pretty much it, to be honest. There's not much. Before, let's say, if I look back in my experience of watching F1, right? Even if we look at 2021, I think before, was this including it must have been including the cost cap, but 2021, Mercedes developed their car to be able to catch up to Red Bull. 2017, Mercedes developed their car to be able to catch Red Bull, and 2018. If people can't develop their cars over the course of the season, they're just going to come into the season but if they can't develop because they can't afford to, because of the cost cap, and especially if you're a team and your driver, let's say your team and your driver gets into a massive accident and you need to fix the car, or you're a team who, you're so far back that the cost of developing isn't worth doing it, then you're not going to do it. So yeah, the whole sport needs tweaking, and they've tried to put a sticker. They've tried to plaster over some problems this weekend, and I think those problems haven't been plastered over basically, and we will see whether they will be able to do it. But I guess I've got two people here who I haven't spoken to since the sprint race on Saturday, and one overtake that seemed to generate a lot of discussion was young George Russell on Max Verstappen going into turn 2 was where the damage happened. And then obviously turn 3, there was more kind of running him wide on the outside. Tasha, I'll come to you, then I'll come to you, Tommy. I guess thoughts on, George and Max, and I guess the ensuing drama afterwards. What did you think of that?
I loved it. I mean, I love that George gives Max the same energy that, Max gives to everybody else, and he doesn't back down ever from him. And he has that kind of like know-it-all, I'm right demeanor. So he knows that, I have the inside line. I'm right here. So it's on Max to back off or, create that space that he so lovingly likes to refer to. And I don't know. I just like that George doesn't like ever back down from Max. And I knew like coming into the season that George kind of seemed like the kind of racer that would do that would basically give Max a taste of his own medicine if the occasion called for it. I don't think he deliberately did anything. I don't think it was an issue of like he's trying to cause damage to his car, but he was just like, this is my corner, I'm taking it, and you just happen to be in the way. So I enjoyed it.
I think
I enjoyed the energy. Like it was just like, I didn't enjoy season, but I enjoyed the energy of like, I'm not gonna back off because you.
I'm not going to back down.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let it. Do you know what I mean? Max squared up to him and George was looking down on him in his helmet. Like, I don't know who you think you are, buddy. Do you know what I mean? Like white people have their, like, those, like, really good phrases. Like, whoa, hold your horses, buddy.
Easy there, pal.
Yeah. Whoa now. I just can't imagine. George didn't look intimidated at all. And you could tell in every press interview that he was having afterwards, George was loving it.
Unbothered,
someone else who I'm sure was loving it was you, Tommy. I told you that there was something that you were going to enjoy when you watched it back in the end. So I guess, when you did end up watching the race, your thoughts on and I guess like just your thought. I guess, what do you think of like Max? Do you think there's an element of hypocrisy with Max in terms of, Max has made a living in a good way and a bad way of being an aggressive driver, taking opportunities, being up the inside, crowding people out of space, on the outside. For Max to be concerned or not happy about being crowded out on the outside seems hypocritical. But I guess, what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's very telling of a person that's grown up in an environment where they've been told they're the best, they're amazing, nothing they do is wrong, and when their organization or the institution that surrounds them kind of enables that behavior. It just came to light again though, because we've seen this before where Max does something outrageous and then tries to like defend it. But I think what was even more confusing to me was like, I didn't see anything wrong happen. Like, it was racing. And I feel like Max just wants everybody to get out of his way who isn't Checo. Even, well, to be fair, he wants Checo to get out of his way as well. But thank you, I was waiting for the gunshot. But,
I can see.
I was like, let me take a break. Max, I think that is just his mentality is very immature, and his mentality is very entitled. And what's worse is that the I think everyone's made it worse, especially the commentators of the sport. They're always like, oh, he's matured so much this year. He's always driving at a different level, blah, 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 blah. Like, no, it's still the same old regular dude. He's just got no one breathing down his neck. That's why he's acting like this. As soon as anyone breathes down his neck, the mask comes off, doesn't it? Or the true colours are exposed.
Yeah, and I think what's really interesting is the difference in how the media reacted with Max acting in this way to George versus Max's antics during the 2021 season towards Lewis. And I just find it hilarious. To be fair, the one person who's been consistent is Damon Hill.
Damon Hill not having a bar of it, man. That's one thing I like about Damon Hill, man. He keeps it absolutely a buck all the time. Like, if he thinks someone's doing something that's stupid, he'll just say they're doing stupid. And do you know what the worst part is? When Damon Hill starts spitting facts, the other commentators that are with him look at him like he's crazy. I'm like,
silence.
This guy's spitting.
Bro,
Silence.
Simon Lazenby walks around in Sky F1, and if anyone says anything remotely racy, you can see it in his eyes, just like...
Don't know how to respond to this.
Damon Hill's like, oh, Max, that's just what he's like. Do you know what I mean? He's a hypocrite. And Damon Hill, and Simon Lazenby will be like, well, of course, obviously, that's maybe what you think. But let's moving on. And Alex Albon in 9th place.
That's what happens when teams create a media blackout because someone speaks out against their behavior.
Oh, yeah.
You instill this mentality and this culture of allowing bad behavior. And by the way, I swear you weren't allowed to celebrate on the pit wall. Did anything come of that?
So I actually literally before I passed out for the day was watching the Sky Sports post race analysis, and they asked Christian Horner, they said there was a new directive to say that you're not supposed to be hanging over the wall, and Christian Horner said in the managers meeting we had a directive, and it's basically they said that as long as your feet are touching the garage, the first bench part of the thing or whatever, then you're fine. So he believes that the team are fine. So
yeah, but there was
course,
the pit lane was still open though. That's what I'm confused about. Because if Ocon came steaming down the pit lane, then like this is the thing about.
Wow.
Sorry to go to the Ocon situation. Everyone was trying to blame it on the FIA, bruh. If I see a whole team crossing the pit lane, I'm going to think it's time that I can cross the pit lane. So everyone's saying, the stewards need to be accountable. I think the first person to cross that line needs to be accountable. But again, who am I?
No, that's true.
Yeah.
To be fair, I you know what? You've actually explained something that hadn't clicked in my head I hadn't realised. Because they were saying it on commentary. They were like, oh, the Red Bull mechanics are in the pit lane. There's photographers in the pit lane. Oh, my God. And I couldn't figure out. I could see the photographers. I was like, why the fuck are the photographers there? But I couldn't figure out why is it bad that Red Bull are in the pit lane. And then now you saying that, it's just made me realise, oh, so they've obviously gone out to celebrate the win, waiting for Max to come back.
It's still open.
But the race is still on, and Esteban Ocon's obviously on his way round, about to come into the pit. So, look, not good. Tash, I mean, do you think that we might see more of this from Max? We'll get on to Checo Perez in a bit. But do you think that we might see more of this from Max in terms of when there's pressure on and when there's something to lose, and maybe he does lose something, do you think that there's an element of him potentially kind of that mask, like Tommy says, not his mask slipping, but his true colours showing? Do you think we'll see more of that as the season progresses? Maybe more than last season?
I feel like absolutely. I mean, he, especially in the 2021 season when, he's racing Lewis, he raced him like, I don't have anything to lose, right? Like, I can race you however I want because really this is on you going for your 8th. Obviously, he's going for his 1st, but, it's like a little bit different of a dynamic. And now that he's the one that's essentially the reigning world champion, we'll put that in quotes, I think and he's established this, he and F1 have established this system where, he can race however he wants and he can push people off the road. And like, he's essentially so rewarded for it. So if I'm a driver racing against Max and I see that he's been successful, been able to succeed driving however he wants and driving standards don't matter, I'm going to race him the same way that he raced Lewis, because now what do I have to lose? You know what I'm saying? You're the one going for your 3rd world championship. I don't have anything to lose. So I'm going to race you how I want, how I see fit. So I think the issue is that they've created this environment where instead of punishing these poor driving standards and getting Max to actually become a mature person, it's just going to create more of that, like, onto him. And I mean, granted, none of the drivers that I can see are as ruthless as he is. I don't see anybody parking a car on top of his head, but who's to say? Because like you said, as the season progresses and more points and stuff are on the line, like who knows? But I just feel like the issue is that without these type of behaviors going punished, and everybody from the media to the stewards to his team principal, everybody like encouraging and enabling this behavior, you know what I mean? Like, how are we supposed to see a progression in Max as a person? Because nothing that he does that's wrong ever gets criticized. And when it does, like, to your point earlier, people like to go silent and act stupid. So, I don't know.
You were spitting! I didn't want to break that up! Incredible. Tommy, I don't want to go in on Max too much because... I don't want to spend. I'm joking.
I like how we both were like,
fuck that guy. But I guess, I guess this would be a good segue. So, do you think that Checo Perez? Look, let's shine some light on someone who did well this weekend. We've talked about all the things that were bad, but I guess Checo Perez wins the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. He won the sprint race, and you know what? He won that on merit. And I think Max done this thing that when he's losing, sometimes like, oh, I don't know what's going on with my car. I can't get the car right. I thought. I thought that he actually had like a brake by wire issue or whatever, but it was literally just his brake balance settings on his car that he couldn't get right, which he was attributing to his poor pace. And he says around 10 laps for the end he finally got around to fixing it. But do you think Checo Perez, Mario's cousin, I know Mario's going crazy on Sunday, do you think that Checo Perez has what it takes to take the fight to Max, or is this going to be a repeat of what we saw last season with, kind of up to Monaco, him doing great and then falling off?
Red Bull ain't going to let Checo fucking beat Max. You know that, right? Imagine your own team boss says, yeah, he got lucky with a safety car, as if, like, you don't deserve it. But if I on my team, boy, if you don't get the fuck up at you. When I heard that, I was like, bro, like, did I just hear that? I was like, am I tired or is it... I don't know. I think Red Bull in no way, shape or form will ever let Checo take it to Max. Because Christian Horner's neighbour, MAX Verstappen, will always be his number one, his shining star. And the only thing that matters to him, which is just what Checo's kind of brought himself into, I guess. But he did have the pace this weekend. He was bullying Max all weekend. And also, I've noticed when Max isn't in first, suddenly he's like, there's something wrong with the car.
Absolutely,
like,
every single time.
It's almost like routine or like scripted. Like, as soon as he's not in first, or Checo's in first, or someone else in front of him, there's something wrong with the car. And then the team's like, no, everything's fine. And he's like, no, there's something wrong, guy. You guys need to check it. And they're like, no, like, everything's fine. It's like, it's, I don't know, man. I'm not necessarily the biggest Max Verstappen fan in the world.
No?
I'm not the biggest Max Verstappen fan in the world. But I don't know, man. Oh, God, that team seems to allow the negativity to fester. Yeah. And you know what's so weird? People, I was on Twitter and someone was doing like relationship red flags. Do you know what a big red flag for me in life is? If someone supports Max Verstappen, that is a massive red flag for me because it tells me as a person you lack integrity. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So whenever someone says I'm a Max Verstappen fan, I'm just sitting there like, I don't fuck with you. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, if you're a Red Bull fan, I have no issues with. Be a Red Bull fan. You're there from the Vettel days. You support Checo or A, B, and C. But if you categorically Max Verstappen is your boy, I feel like you're more in terms of the scale of life, you're more towards negativity than positivity. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I don't know Max Verstappen. I'm just a guy in my flipping house talking about Formula One. I'm not Max Verstappen's fan. He might be a great person in real life, just come off bad in races because he's so competitive. But I see Max Verstappen, the competitor, the Formula One driver. He is not the kind of person I would be enthralled to associate with those who stan such a character.
Oh, the Max Verstappen fans who camp out in this podcast to say some nasty shit are going to have a field day. Oh, what you just said. Oh my God. You know what? Actually, there's one of them that fucking posts on all of our shit. Let me actually.
Shout him out.
James Obarico on Twitter. I'm going to give you some shine for once in your life. He says... so I guess we've already answered this. Is Perez a title contender? Will we see anybody but... Well, okay, I'll answer that one. But is Perez a title contender? And I guess in your eyes, Tommy, he's not, because I mean it's fundamental. Like we know, last year after Monaco, Red Bull developed the car away from Checo Perez and towards Max Verstappen, and also, we have a lot of street circuits now, and once we go to normal circuits, Checo seems to fall away. But how good a performance was it from Checo Perez this weekend, Tasha? I mean, let's give him credit. He's won the sprint race. He's won the main race. He is now only 6 points behind Max Verstappen in a team and that doesn't really want him to win it, and a car, and a car that clearly isn't designed all the way towards his taste. So he must be doing a pretty good job. He's doing better than a lot of Max Verstappen teammates have done, probably since early Daniel Ricciardo.
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely tell he's driven. He wants to win, but I mean, they're not going to let him reach that goal. I mean, like I joked last time, I was like, I'm rooting for him to go rogue, because at some point, team orders will come into play or shit will come into play, and I want to see him succeed because I do feel like he's a better driver all around, to be honest, than Max. Like I feel like, then again, it's like we'll never know because they never let them race each other. But I feel like Checo has more all-around skills than Max. I mean, he's been able to wheel to a battle most of the grid, and pretty much every single person has been able to live to see another day. So just on that alone, it's hard for me to rate Max in terms of... Yeah, so... And
I know, it's a really fair point.
Because, I believe Christian Horner was saying before the weekend started, the boys are free to race each other as long as they keep it respectful and don't whatever. And I'm like, really the only person that's directed at is Max, because everybody's been able to race against Checo and their shit's not getting wrecked. So it's like, that's the only person that's directed at is Max Verstappen. So it lets me know you don't have faith that if Max gets overtaken by Checo, or if they have some sort of battle, that, both their cars are going to finish. And that's not because of both drivers, that's because of one driver. I mean, it's even to the point where they didn't even let Checo overtake Max. I don't know if you noticed, but when Checo was about 0.5 seconds behind Max on the straight, they just pit him. Yeah. So we don't even get to see Checo overtake Max. So it's like, Checo, I think, is going to do the best that he can do, but at a certain point, it just comes down to the team is not going to support that vision that he has for himself as a world champion. So, yeah. Yeah.
Checo, I mean, look, just to go back to your point, which is a really good one. Checo, Max is no doubt the faster, especially over one lap, although I would say Charles Leclerc probably has Max beat in the qualifying department. But Checo is a better racer. Wheel to wheel, I'd say Checo's probably better, especially in defense.
Yeah,
human being.
Better strategist. What do you say, Tommy?
Human being.
Better human.
Well, his wife wouldn't agree with that, but we'll put that on a
City
boy. He's for the streets, for real.
For real.
He is the streets king.
Checo.
Checo in the house. Poor Checo. Poor Checo's wife. Whoa. Okay. But what I was going to say, he's got great tyre management as well, and that is what allowed him to close that gap to Max. It would have been so good to see them go face head-to-head racing, because Checo would have been in DRS and Max would not have given. I reckon there would have been contact. The way that Max was feeling in that sprint race, there would have been contact. And we all know the last time Max's teammate tried to overtake him in Baku, crash, bang,
that's what they brought him in,
Crash, bang, wallop.
So yeah, we'll see how it goes. It'll be interesting to see, but we're going to circuits now where overtaking might not be as easy as we would like. Miami, we'll see. I've got no hopes for Miami. Miami's quickly becoming, we'll talk about it on the preview pod, but I don't think that race has got a contract for 10 years. And already,
10 human years. Good Lord, man.
Yeah.
That race
10
is
years.
boring.
10 years and they're already cutting prices on tickets. They've not sold out. Like,
that's mad.
So it's a good look, because it was like, first it was like, whoa, Miami, and then apparently there was an article that I'm gonna probably save for the preview pod, but the actual, like, obviously first one there's gonna be hiccups and shit, but there was issues at the circuit. You know, the people who got VIP didn't get VIP shit. And, you know, you look at it now and it's like, okay, well, if I'm in America and I'm going to spend big P's to go somewhere, big money for those of you who are not from the UK, do I go to Vegas or do I go to Miami? There's no fucking brainer right there. Like, so unless you make Miami such a different... The problem is they tried to make Miami and then they tried to make it an upper class event, but they should have made it like a fucking spring break style fucking shit. Like, get as many young people. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, let's get ratchet. Like, if you want to take me to Miami, let me get ratchet. Like, don't take me to Miami and give me a fake swimming pool with a fake mermaid on it. Like, I don't care. Like, anyway, we can save that for the preview pod. Let's get into star of the day. Ladies first. Tasha,
I'm gonna pick Lewis 100%. Okay, so I read the stat, which was kind of crazy. So the main race had...
Hold on. Wait, sorry. Can I just get a little... Hold on. Could you just say that again, please?
Say what again? What did I say?
Who was your star of the day?
Lewis Hamilton.
Don't piss me off!
Hamilton.
Okay?
Like, if he wasn't there...
Let's have a Funkmaster Flex bomb drop.
What? Like...
yeah.
It's like, because honestly, who else was doing anything that race? I mean, I read a stat that was like, so if the sprint race had 18 overtakes, the main Grand Prix had 13. Lewis accounted for 31% of those. If that man was not on that track, nothing would have happened. Like, nothing would have happened. So it's like... Who else could it have been? I mean, it's to me, and watching him overtake, 3 cars at the restart. Then he came for George, and I was just like laughing because I'm like, the George outperforming Lewis crowd seems mighty quiet this weekend. And
you bullied him, boy. That overtake
was beautiful.
Dumbass.
So, yeah, I was excited for Lewis. I think he did great. I mean, once again, it's like, the 4th or 5th fastest car, what he's able to accomplish in, that fucking station wagon is very admirable. The patience that he exhibits during these races is admirable, because I would just be so frustrated that, once again, the safety car doesn't go my way, but he was just like, fuck that, and went for it, so... I appreciate that, because we at home, I know I was freaking out. I was like, damn, another safety car, another fucking race where, we lose 4 positions, but he was like, I got this, don't worry. And
I got this.
I got this. Sit back.
I respect it so much. Tommy, do you think that, was it Lewis's performance in Baku that inspired you to name your son Lewis? First name Hamilton, middle name.
Yes, it was. I thought it was exceptional, and when I saw that overtake with George Russell, I said, "That's it. That's the name." Lewis Hamilton. So, yeah, that was the exact reason. He is my driver of the day. He is my GOAT. And I think that, I think like Tasha said, if it wasn't him, the race would have been even more boring.
Dry.
Yeah. Look, let me tell you. You ain't gonna ask me twice to talk about Lewis Hamilton. Okay? What I will say is this. I put up a tweet today that said, I showed the overtake, and all I said was the apology needs to be as loud as the disrespect, Sky Sports, because they went into this weekend absolutely shoveling shit on Lewis and trying to pitch George as this conqueror of Lewis, as they did throughout the whole of last season. They tried to basically say, George has beat Lewis 3-0 in qualifying. What happens? George goes out in Q2. Then, they still kind of try and run because George out-qualified Lewis in the sprint shootout. They tried to pitch George as Mr. Saturday again. Right. And then George, look, if we're keeping it a buck, and I will keep it a buck for the sake of content, George was on the line with that move. Like, he's locked up. He's not fully in control, and he has kind of gone into the side of Verstappen and created damage on his car. Now, could Verstappen have backed out of it? Yes, but let me tell you now, one person who I'm not going to give the benefit of the doubt to is Verstappen. So, George, perfectly legal move. Right. Thank you very much. Hold that! Anyway, that's why they're like, you guys are so biased. You guys are so... Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Listen. Objectivity goes out the window for my man. I don't give a fuck. So to see Lewis this season, that race, overtake George after safety car, which honestly...
DRS wasn't even on.
DRS wasn't even on.
He did it bareback, boy. I said, no, guys, I'm going to just slip it right in. Oh, my goodness. My goat. Oh my god. I never even realised DRS wasn't a thing. I never even realised. That makes it even more embarrassing. That move, do you know what that move was like? Have you ever been go-karting and then there's someone that just knows the track that's there and then you think you're the guy straight past you like you're standing still. When I saw the overtake, I was like, damn. And then straight after George, well, that was a shit restart, guys. I'm like, for you.
Yeah.
For you. You, buddy. You nearly lucked into it again and you squandered it and you got passed by Stroll and you got bro, you fucked up the whole base for everyone.
Actually a George Russell affiliate. I was just thinking that the propaganda that's been spread is comedic. So we need...
on George's side?
Yeah, no. The way, George... I ain't got an issue with George Russell. I got an issue with the way the media tries to pitch George
portray
and Lewis together.
Yes.
Because it's sickening and it's unnecessary. Why does this have to be a narrative? I don't see you guys doing the same thing with Sergio and Max or Charles and Carlos. So why are you trying to say... it's like there's just anything to portray this narrative of Lewis Hamilton's downfall. Even more so than Vettel, even more so than when I can't think of anyone else that had a major...
I was in a great in the sport,
right?
And
now they're like
Schumacher,
Michael Schumacher and
Alonso.
Rosberg. Schumacher and Rosberg, they didn't try and pitch that narrative of, Schumacher, maybe it's just a car. No, they didn't try that. But with Lewis Hamilton, it's anything that they can get to discredit him, they try and just use and weaponize against him. And I think they've taken George and just run with it because they have no one else to compare him to on the field. It's George. Oh yeah, Lewis Hamilton isn't as good as George. Oh yeah, George out qualifies Lewis Hamilton. But at the end of the day, who's leading in the championship, bro? Come on,
points are on Sunday.
It's
people with Mr. Saturday is not a flex that they think it is. Mr. Saturday. That's like calling you what they call this? What they call this thing? Mr. Foreplay. It's like, do you know what I mean? Hey, that guy's Mr. Foreplay. He ain't good at the business, but he sure is good at foreplay.
Okay, well, look,
Well.
that's, I feel like that you're hitting close to home, so I'm going to shut that down. Okay, not everyone's good at that, all right? No, look, I think, no, to be serious, I think that look, we could write a thesis on the weaponization of a great white hope of some sort to take down a successful contemporary black person. We saw it with Max Verstappen in his season, and how they allowed everything Max that he did and everything that he'd done to become this thing that would be used to take down Lewis. And we're seeing it with George. The way that they even introduced Nico Rosberg, Jenson Button, the Jenson Button, the only driver to beat Lewis to a world championship in equal machinery. Jenson Button, the only driver to beat Lewis in total cumulative points over 3 seasons. Like, that's anything that you could ever.
Yo, dumbass up, boy. Who's got one championship? You, Jenson Button. Like, how am I trying to hear
honestly,
that?
No, so I just, it's a shame. And that's the thing. I love George. It's a shame that, and George, I don't think George helps it sometimes, but George is a guy that is a racing driver out for himself. Yeah. He is not there to carry Lewis Hamilton's water. Like, he is there to make a name for himself. So he's not going to constantly put down his own performances to lift up Lewis. But what it does do when the media use George as a prop to attack Lewis is it makes people hate George. And that's what happens. And that's why I would say it is a big reason for the divisions in Mercedes between fans, ones who like George and ones who don't like George, because they're tired of George being used as a puppet. Unfortunately, whether George likes it or not, that's always going to be something that is kind of attributed towards him. Tommy, was your star of the day Lewis?
Boy, no, that's me no silly questions. It was Lewis Hamilton.
Yes. Okay. Okay. I think that let me just. I've got. There's so many guys. There's so many. Okay, so mine is going to be between Yuki Tsunoda and Alex Albon. So the reason for that being, I think Yuki Tsunoda had a really strong weekend, especially if we compare it to his teammate, who I'm sure is going to feature in the next question. Yuki Tsunoda is in quite possibly the third slowest, second slowest car, and he's dragging it into or around the points each fucking time. I think that's incredible. He looks like a completely different driver this season than he'd done to the last 2 seasons. And I'll also give some props to Alex Albon in a fucking Williams. Absolutely bossing it. Getting up into, the points in a Williams is no mean feat. And I just think we're looking at a rebirth of 2 drivers who, at one point or another, you would have thought their careers were over. I think even Yuki said he was lucky to be kept on by Red Bull AlphaTauri, and obviously Alex Albon had to take a year out before coming back to Williams, who are the slowest team on the grid, and he is rebuilding his reputation there. And I think Albon especially has been going around his business very well this season, just getting points, and I just think good stuff from him. Should we do Donkey of the Day?
Sure, I'm ready.
Tommy, your donkey of the weekend, actually.
Of the weekend? Good God. That's a tough one, man. That's a tough one, but... Oh, man. That is really, really tough. I don't know who to give it to because there's... I'm gonna be different, and I'm gonna say... No, I can't say that. I can't say that. I was gonna say Max Verstappen's engineer for that one comment he made, because that comment was embarrassing. I heard it and I was like, I'm trying to hear that, but I think my donkey of the weekend will probably have to be Nick. I think Nick. I have to give it to Nick.
Hold on.
Yeah, I have to give it to Nick.
Let me find the
He deserves
fucking. Hold on. Is it not coming up? Oh, these sound effects. I wanted to give him the one sound effect, but
I got you.
yeah. That was good. That was really good.
Thanks.
I was like, is that playing? No, but I mean, look, it's why is Nick De Vries your donkey of the day? I think we can all. But yeah, is there any particular reason why you've given him the donkey of the day?
Bro, like it's a corner, bro. Just unprovoked. You can't be hitting stuff like that, bro. Like that's wild, man. Like unprovoked. But I feel like teams fell into that propaganda. Oh, he had a good race, and it was like, yeah, this guy is gonna be the next. Fair enough, he might be getting to grips with everything, but if Yuki is bullying you, but just honestly, it was just a corner. You didn't have to hit that. Do you know what I mean? But a lot of drivers tend to skim walls, but he drove into the wall. So yeah, I'll give him donkey of the day.
Tasha, any advance on Nick? Like any thoughts on? I guess what was a really bad weekend for Nick. I think he was in the wall twice this weekend. Yeah. He's had an awful start to his F1 career. I mean, this is bad.
I feel like he just hasn't gotten into a rhythm. I mean, if there is a rhythm, I would have, I don't know. But the first, 4 races, he's just been kind of nowhere. And I mean, I feel like, to be fair for this one, I think the issue, we're going back to the sprint race, only giving them one practice, you know what I mean? I feel like he probably could have used a little bit more time to get his car and everything set. I mean, I'm not going to make excuses because he just has been really trash. But I agree. He was supposed to come in and spank Yuki. He hasn't. Yuki has basically showed him that no, I'm the number one driver in the team. And I agree with you in terms of Yuki. I feel like his just incorporating more discipline into his life and into his routine, he's become a completely different driver, more focused. There was actually a really good battle with him and Oscar Piastri after the restart. So that was really, but obviously they didn't show it, but he's been doing great. But Nick, he's just not living up to expectations, and race after race it's kind of getting worse and worse. And
do you know what's crazy? You're not wrong. He's not lived up to expectations whatsoever. Franz Tost, I will never forget this quote. Franz Tost said that the engineers are now, during testing, he was the engineers are. We need to listen to Nick De Vries because, he's giving us such good feedback on this car. Here we go. Nick De Vries was a wake-up call for the engineers. And that we need to listen to him because the car's been shit and he's going to help make the car better. Well. You better start listening to Yuki. I think start developing the car towards the guy that can finish races and fight for points. Don't just start... You know what I mean? You got a new toy. This guy comes in and he's he's showing you his F2 championship from 20 years ago. He's showing you his F3 championship. This guy, Nick De Vries is the fucking Fonz, bro. What kind of 27-year-old rookie is not finishing races, bro? You've been racing all over the world since you finished in F2, and you're telling me that cannot go right. He can't finish qualifying. He can't finish races, and people are trying to tell me to be sorry for him. This guy is pants. No one felt sorry for Mazepin when he was crashing. No one felt sorry for Latifi. Get this guy out of it. He's pants. Fucking cheeks. I'm sorry. Oh my god, that shit pisses me. The fact that I accurately predicted that Nick De Vries would be the one who would cause a fucking what do you call it? Who would cause a safety car is fucking insane. That is insane. I cannot believe it. So, Nick, bro, Lord willing, he gets better. I pray he gets better. Because the slander I'm going to give him on this podcast will be insane. No, I'm not giving him more time. He needs to fix up, bro. Because if it was someone else, if Yuki was doing all this shit,
right.
Yuki wasn't even doing all this shit in his first year, and he was getting a lot more flack than Nick de Vries is getting. Anyway, just my thoughts and opinions. Tasha, do you have your own donkey of the weekend?
Yeah, mine's a little bit maybe different. I'm going to give the donkey of the day to the TV directors for F1. And I feel like this maybe goes to why they feel like nobody thinks that the races are exciting or that they look exciting. Because there was only 13 overtakes. How many did we actually see on TV? Right? Like, I just said Yuki and Oscar had a good battle that was like multiple corners. Didn't even replay it. I feel like a large part of F1's problem in terms of like the TV broadcast, why people check out, is because the battles that are happening are not being broadcast. And so I don't know how to fix that. I don't know, what the solution is, but I just feel like there's a lot going on that needs to be addressed because to only see 4 out of 13 overtakes in a boring, uneventful race, like that's a problem. So that's my donkey of the day. Random, but I'm just like, I have problems with not being able to enjoy a broadcast. You need to liven it up. That's your job.
I have a theory. I'm not going to lie, yeah. I've noticed this as well. Like, when was the last time you watched a Lewis Hamilton Q3 lap? Like Lewis Hamilton come over the line.
No.
Like,
Max
you'll see him come out maybe, yeah.
You just get Max Verstappen warm-up laps.
Yeah, like, honestly, sometimes you won't even get his time at the bottom. You'll just see it pop up on the side, like, Hamilton. Yeah. Like, I can't describe to you. I don't know if it's because they want us to use the extra functions on F1 TV more and kind of interact with it that way and use the onboard. I don't get it, but the TV direction, the only race which gets TV direction right is Silverstone, I feel. Like, Silverstone, I feel like they've got all the cameras that go in overhead and it's all kind of like cool and snazzy. But every other race, I just feel like, it's just so, you're just looking at the same thing. I must have looked at like just laps of like Lewis Hamilton. The only time I saw Lewis was when he was just trailing Sainz by just over a second, and the excitement was like, is he going to get within 1 second to be? And I think there was like 1 or 2 laps, and then they ended up switching to everyone going past Hulkenberg on 40 laps old tires. So yeah, honestly, not great. Not great. I totally agree with that.
It's just like such a low pressure. Sorry, it's just like such a low pressure race, so to make it like not even exciting on that end, on the back end, the broadcasting side is just like, I mean, even the commentators were trying to find stuff to talk about, so just felt like the whole broadcast was just like, people are bored there. I mean, if you're bored, how do you think the people at home feel? So
for real,
that was just how I felt. It's crazy.
Yeah. No, honestly, it was not great. What was I going to say? Who was my donkey? Nick was my donkey. Oh my God! Let me find the tweet of the fucking century. I can't believe I didn't have this fucking lined up. Oh my God. I have never laughed at someone else's tweet so fucking much. Hold on. Here it is. It is here. Give me a second. I'll probably... Okay. Carlos Sainz should change his race number to 12 because this man doesn't drive, doesn't win, doesn't do anything. Oh my God.
Like
incredible. Yeah. Incredible. Carlos Sainz is my donkey of the day. Donkey of the weekend. What a I'm telling you now, if this guy doesn't fix up, he is getting kicked out of that team because this weekend was a hot mess. I think he went in qualifying, he span at the first corner. He went down the exit lane at some point. He's been comprehensively. I think he finished a pit stop behind Charles Leclerc this weekend.
That's mad.
He spent the whole time getting bullied by other drivers. He was awful, like so bad. And like sometimes I just like. Every time, there's times where he'll do all right and Sainz will always choose him. Sorry, Tanya will always choose him as like her donkey of the weekend or donkey of the day. And I'm like, oh, but Sainz did okay. She's always like, I need more from him. I want more.
Yeah.
And now I get it because he's not even doing it. When he doesn't do the bare minimum, everyone's like, oh my God, Carlos Sainz has done well today. But now I'm looking at it and I'm like, this guy, this weekend was awful, like so bad. So
I think the ability of the Ferrari to qualify higher like really masks Carlos's inability to be like a real like move maker, I guess, like on the track. Like, he really doesn't do much. And I always get like every time qualifying ends and Lewis or whoever qualifies behind him, I'm like shit, because it's like the ability for them to get around him is difficult, I guess, because of like the dirty air and everything, like I think the tires were a big issue this weekend as well. Like not being able to, having to babysit them made it hard for the cars to overtake each other. But I just feel like him being able to qualify and put the Ferrari like in whatever P4, P5, like it just it masks a lot of like his bozo energy, because he's like Max as well when he's not when his car's not faster. He does a lot of that like I'll slide into somebody, I'll hit some, like he does that shit too. So it's just like, it's very interesting that, he gets kind of a pass because it's like so under the radar. But yeah, he's a little dirty.
Look, maybe he is still reeling from all of the great injustices that he was crying about from Australia, and oh my God, this is so incredible. And,
for me.
Carlos, shut up, bro. Like, what I will say is he's got a lovely head of hair. I'll give that to him. Every time I see him, I'm like, you are respectfully very handsome. But I need more. Lewis is handsome too. Look what he's doing. Right. Brilliant teammates. Brilliant Tories up and down that grid. What are you doing, bro? Your teammate is a fucking level 3 pianist. Like, do you know what I mean? This guy's playing How Now Brown Cow on the fucking piano.
Release, yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? That, honestly, I can't believe you went, that should have, bro, that's not even SoundCloud level of music. I don't, like, Charles, you need to cut your teeth, bro, before you start sticking. But you know what? Maybe he wants the PRS money. I don't blame him. Me too. He's number 6 in the charts on iTunes. I mean, what can you do?
The international iTunes chart, or the overall, or a very specific number 6 on.
No, not on number 6 on like the piano charts. Like I think it was like literally like I think it was like number 6 in the iTunes downloads chart. I was like, I was looking at names like Pink and someone else was there. I was like, this is a big boy chart. I don't know what's going on here. So anyway, final thoughts on Carlos Sainz, Tommy?
You know what? I think me not having any thoughts says it all, because it's just Carlos Sainz, isn't it? Like,
forgettable.
He's just there. Like he's always just there.
He's there. He's a lingerer.
Just take up space.
Lingerer. Okay. Well, look. Honestly, that we got an hour out of that Grand Prix is a fucking
squeezed it for everything.
We fucking squeezed the fuck out of that Grand Prix. I can't believe. I was honest. I was like, if this makes it to 45 minutes, we've done a great job. So honestly, guys, thank you so much. And Tommy, I really, really appreciate you coming on. For everyone, also, I don't think I've taken a look at the numbers on your TikTok. And so I think the last time I looked at it, you were in like double-digit figures. I went on it today and I was like 200 and something thousand. Like you are You are bossing it on TikTok. I was like, okay, no, I need to. What's Tommy doing on here? What's the strategy? So I've been looking at a couple of things. I'm like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. And I found myself. I don't know if you saw it. I did like a reply today, and I was like, I love when I get comments like this.
Yeah.
And I sound like Tommy.
Dragging people left and right.
Yeah, like, literally, like, I love when people call my wife a gold digger because that was like, this is her number one flag. Here's her number one flag.
I watch that like multiple times a week.
yeah. Oh, like, this guy's going in.
Shit's going platinum on TikTok, yeah.
There's a plaque over. This is her plaque that she got for this. She wrote this song. I don't know if you've heard of it. So look, incredible content. Where can people find you so they can see you roast people coming at you and your family?
Just at TOMImusic on all platforms. I don't really use Twitter much anymore because kind of fuck that up. So I feel like Twitter is just like a very toxic environment now. Like it's very like, and all I see is cheeks. Like I open Twitter and then it's just cheeks. I'm like, cheeks and fighting. And these are two things that like I pay no interest to. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like it's always like, I'm seeing a fight or I'm seeing cheeks. I'm seeing a fight, I'm seeing cheeks. Or you look on someone's comments, or you see a very intellectually advanced thread. You're like, I'm gonna click on this and read this. Scroll down, cheeks. What's going on?
Yeah. Send me the links and I'll report it.
Oh my god. Anyway, at TOMImusic on all platforms. And that's me.
Oh my god. Tasha, where can people find you?
You can find me at the Glossier on all platforms or at Tasha for my F1 hot takes on Twitter.
No, you've got incredible hot takes, and we'll put all of those details down below.
Thank you.
No worries. And look, if you've got this far, thank you so much. Make sure, if you are watching or listening, give us a 5-star review on Spotify, give us a like and subscribe on this video, and make sure to subscribe to the Patreon. There are still tickets for our live show in 2 weeks. Tommy will be there, I will be there, Tandy will be there, Brazil 21 will be there, fucking free popcorn will be there, complimentary drink will be there, and loads of like-minded fans will also be there. And I hope you'll be there. Come and join us May 14th at Broadgate Everyman Cinema for the live show of a lifetime. And I think that's it for me. You know where to find me. Merch will also be there. Thank you very much, Chris. So, pardon me. So, we will be back. Wow, we'll be back this week for a Miami Grand Prix preview, followed by Miami Grand Prix qualifying. I'm going to have to be on your time now. That is crazy. I just looked at the times for that. I'm like, I'm going to have to be up late for all this stuff.
Yeah,
great.
It's some crazy time. And also, F1 advertised it as being on the 8th of May, but it's on the 7th. Like, it said 8th on after the race. And I was there like, that's a Monday. But,
yeah.
Anyway, full of the F1 shambles.
The UK time, I think I'm here. It's saying 9:30? No, I don't know, 8:30. This calendar that I've got is mad. I don't know if it's actually giving me the right time. I think it's 8:30 ish, maybe 9 o'clock. Qualifying's on at 9 o'clock. So yeah, it's PM. So that's good for, I guess, the guys back in America and everyone on that side of the country, of the world. This side, I'm not enjoying it, but I'll take an evening race. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Thank you for watching. Leave a comment. Please like and subscribe. And remember, until next time, no matter what happens, keep it on the black stuff. Get well soon, Tandy. Ta-da! Look, mate, if you've got this far, clearly you like what we do. So here's a link to subscribe to the Quickstop F1 family. Give that a click. And here's another link to some more cool on our channel. Sorry, cool stuff. And remember, no matter what happens, keep it on the black stuff. Click the stuff. Click the links. Click the links. Click the links. There. They're there.